You won't believe this, but Robert Kiyosaki once said that a broke man can turn his life around in just 30 days. I know that sounds crazy. You might even roll your eyes and say, "Come on, nothing happens that fast." But what if I told you that the transformation doesn't start with money, it starts with your mindset? Because the truth is, many people are not poor because they don't have money. They're poor because of how they think about money. Now imagine this. You wake up one morning with just $10 left in your account. You're tired, frustrated, and wondering how you'll survive the week. You scroll through your phone, watching others live the life you dream about: vacations, businesses, cars, peace of mind, and you feel stuck. That's exactly where Robert Kiyosaki once was. He had nothing. In fact, at one point, he was living in his car, completely broke. But within a few short months, he was able to turn his life around, not by luck, but by understanding one powerful truth. Wealth starts in your mind before it shows up in your bank account. Let's go deep into what he meant by that, and how any poor person can start this 30-day journey to change their life forever. See, most people are trapped in what Robert calls the rat race. You know it, the routine of waking up, working for a paycheck, paying bills, and then waiting for the next one. It's a loop that never ends. You earn, you spend, and you start all over again. But here's what's crazy. Many people don't realize that even a small shift in how you think and act daily can take you out of that loop in just a month. Robert often tells the story of how his rich dad taught him something life-changing when he was young. His rich dad said, "The poor work for money, the rich make money work for them." That one line hit me like lightning when I first heard it. Because think about it, how many of us wake up every day chasing money instead of learning how to make it chase us? Let me give you an example. A friend of mine named Daniel lost his job early last year. He had no savings, no plan, nothing. But instead of complaining, he decided to try something different. He gave himself a 30-day challenge. Every single day, he wrote down one skill he could learn or improve that would help him make money without relying on a job. Day 1, he watched free videos on financial literacy. Day 2, he practiced selling. By the end of 30 days, Daniel had started reselling used phones online. He made his first $100, then $200, and by the end of the month, he had crossed $500, all from nothing but a mindset shift. Now here's what most people don't get. You don't need $1 million to start thinking rich. You need to think rich to make your first dollar. Poor people often think, "When I get money, I'll start saving or investing." But rich people think, "I need to learn how to handle money before I even have it." That's the real difference. Robert Kiyosaki talks a lot about the concept of financial education. He says schools teach people how to work for money, not how to make money work for them. Think about it. You can spend 12 years in school, 4 years in college, and still graduate not knowing how to manage a paycheck or build an asset. That's why he calls traditional education the biggest scam for the middle class. It prepares you to be an employee, not an owner. So what does the 30-day transformation actually look like? It starts with what I call the 3 shifts. The first shift is from spending to investing. Every time you get money, ask yourself, does this make me richer or poorer? If it makes you poorer, it's an expense. If it makes you richer, it's an investment. For example, instead of spending $10 on fast food, Daniel used his $10 to buy an online course that taught him how to sell digital products. That $10 decision turned into a lifetime skill. The second shift is from comfort to learning. Robert once said, "If you want to change your life, change what you do daily." Poor people seek comfort, rich people seek growth. When Daniel lost his job, he didn't watch movies or complain about the government. He watched business tutorials and learned copywriting and negotiation. Within a month, he was offering freelance services online. Most people underestimate how fast you can grow if you commit to learning something valuable every day for 30 days straight. And the third shift is from working for money to creating value. This one is deep. Robert Kiyosaki explains that real wealth doesn't come from a salary, it comes from solving problems. You can't get rich by clocking in and out every day. You get rich by creating something that others are willing to pay for. That could be a product, a service, or even knowledge. Let's be honest, most people are scared to take risks. They're afraid to fail. But what they don't realize is that failure is part of the process. Robert failed multiple times before he became a millionaire. He tried businesses that went nowhere. He made investments that didn't work. But every failure was a lesson that brought him closer to success. He once said, "The difference between a poor person and a rich person is how they handle fear." Now let me make this personal. I know someone who started exactly where you might be right now. She was a single mother with no degree, working long hours just to feed her kids. Every night, she watched motivational videos and read books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. One day, she decided to take Robert's advice: start small but think big. She began baking small cakes in her kitchen and selling them online. The first week, she made just $20. The second week, $50. By the end of the month, she had made $250. But more importantly, she had created a new mindset. She realized she didn't need to wait for a job, she could create one. That's the kind of transformation that happens when you commit to 30 days of change. It's not just about making money, it's about becoming the kind of person who attracts it. Robert Kiyosaki also emphasizes the power of mentorship. He says, if you want to go somewhere, it's best to find someone who's already been there. Too many people try to figure out success on their own when they could just learn from someone who's already done it. Think about it. If you wanted to become a great football player, would you just practice randomly or train with someone who's already in the league? The same applies to money. Find someone who has the results you want, study their habits, and mirror them. And speaking of habits, that's another key part of this 30-day journey. Rich people have rich habits, poor people have poor habits. Robert once said, "Show me your habits, and I'll show you your future." If you spend your evenings scrolling through social media, complaining, or watching shows that add nothing to your life, you're training your brain for mediocrity. But if you spend that same time reading books, learning skills, or building something online, your life can change faster than you think. Here's something powerful to remember: you don't need to make $1 million to feel rich. You just need to control your time, your choices, and your money. That's real wealth. When you understand how money works, you stop being controlled by it. So what can you do today? Robert would say, start with what you have. If you have only your phone and internet connection, use them to learn a high-income skill like design, writing, video editing, or online selling. If you have no money, sell your time by offering services. If you have no skill, learn one. The only real poverty is the lack of willingness to change. Now imagine this: 30 days from now, you could be in the same place, broke, tired, and frustrated. Or you could be on your way to financial freedom, learning, growing, and earning from what you've learned. The choice is yours. Robert Kiyosaki always says, "You're only poor if you give up. The most important thing is that you did something." The moment you take action, the universe starts to shift in your favor. It might not happen overnight, but you'll feel it. The way you see money, the way you make decisions, and the way you use your time, all of it begins to change. Let me leave you with this. Every millionaire once had a broke version of themselves who decided, enough is enough. That moment, when you stop blaming your past, your job, your parents, or the economy, and start taking full control, is when wealth begins. So if you're serious about becoming rich in 30 days, don't focus on getting money fast. Focus on becoming the kind of person who can attract, multiply, and sustain it. Start thinking like the rich. Start learning like the rich. Start acting like the rich. Because the moment your mindset shifts, your bank account will follow. This is what Robert Kiyosaki means when he says that any poor person who does this daily commitment to learning, creating value, and thinking differently, can become rich. The journey starts today. And remember this: wealth isn't built by chance, it's built by choice. So make the choice now, because 30 days from now, your future self will thank you for it.